What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video at JDH Aquatics, where we talk about anything aquariums related. From the title, you guys see that we're going to be talking about some budget equipment today and how it's held up over the past couple of years. If you guys watch my channel and are familiar with my content, then you know I'm a big advocate for trying to save money in this what can be expensive hobby. So I've already made some videos on the top budget pieces of equipment you can buy, as well as my top picks for budget LEDs that you can get on Amazon or a couple other marketplaces. But today we're going to be going over a couple specific pieces of equipment that I think are pretty common in this hobby, and we're going to talk about how they've held up over the past couple of years. Jumping into it right away, the first piece of equipment that I want to talk about are going to be my Powerheads and the gyre pump in the 38 gallon. So these two Powerheads that you see here, and they're really dirty. I need to do another monthly deep clean on these things, but I bought these off of Amazon, and these are the J-Bow SLW10s. So the SLW is their puck style Powerheads, and they do make the gyre right above it, which we'll get into. But the SLW10 is their smallest version of this puck style Powerhead, and it pushes a good amount of water. I don't know the exact gallon per hour, but they do a pretty good job at pushing water across this 36-inch tank. And we do have one in the front and one in the back of the aquascape as well. I believe these Powerheads ran about $70, and again, that's for the SLW10, but it's comparable to something like a Nero 3. So from Aqua Illumination, they make a similar Powerhead, and this pump also does come with a controller. It's one of the blue ones back there. So it is controllable as well, like the Nero 3. But it's at like a third of the price. I want to say the Nero 3s are around $170, and these guys are just under 70 bucks on Amazon. As mentioned, it does come with a controller, so you are able to adjust through, I think, 6 different wave modes. You can put it onto a feeding timer, and you can also adjust the speed and the intensity of the actual Powerhead. So the puck style SLW10s I've actually had the longest. I've had these in a couple of different setups, including the 20 gallon over here. And I want to say I've had them for about 2 years now. I've lived in this apartment for about 1.5 years, and I've had them, I'd say about 1 year before that. So I've had them closer to 3 years than 2 years, and they are still rocking. They've performed pretty much the same since I've got them. I do try to clean them about once a month. I'll put them in a little mixture of vinegar and water, and that usually knocks off the algae with a toothbrush. But same power since I've got them. No weird changes in the propellers, nothing's broken on them, and they're still doing what they were built to do. Up top, we've got the SCP-70. So this is made by the same company as the Powerheads down below, but this is their gyre style pump. So this is going to shoot more of a blanket flow across the water, while the SLW10 Powerheads is more of a jet stream of flow. And this is their smallest version as well, so just like the SLW10s, the SCP-70 is their like entry-level gyre pump, but this thing still pushes a ton of water. The gyre pump I've had for about 1 year now, and same story, as long as I clean it and keep it well maintained, it is a strong pump, and it works exactly how I had it when I first got it. It's only 1 year, so this one's not as old as the SLW10s, but for a $70 gyre pump, I think this thing works great. I would estimate that these things will go for a couple of more years. There's no signs of them failing. I've been checking the propellers every time I clean them, and everything looks good there. I think as long as we don't get the controllers wet or broken down there, and we keep the algae off and no snails get caught in the propeller, I think they'll last quite a while. All of the pumps have provided consistent flow over the years, and all of them combined are about the same price as one Nero 3. Moving on to lighting, because I know this is going to be a little bit more of a hot topic. The infamous Hypogara or Hypogara, however you pronounce it, Aquanite LEDs that you can get off of Amazon. These are the 30 watt LEDs that you can get off of Amazon for about $70 a piece. They've got 3 pucks of light. You can grow pretty much any softy you want under these, some LPS and some entry-level SPS. These lights got me through the hobby for a good 4 years, and they held up tremendously. I believe that's why these lights worked so well, is because they weren't growing any crazy hard to keep coral in the tank. And for that, we also didn't have the lights at full intensity. So we never ran these LEDs at 100%. They were usually at about 80% or even less. Now, I don't have a par meter, so I can't tell you how much these LEDs have diminished over the past couple of years, but we can kind of guess that they are not as strong as they would when we first got them. However, we are still going to be trying to grow some coral over these sets here. So you guys know I keep mostly softies and some LPS, but when I first had my 20-gallon setup and I had these lights over it, we had some SPS in there as well. And they were entry level. We had some monoporas and a couple other sticks that were entry level, but they did grow the corals well and they kept good color. These lights being 4 years old, I will definitely have to update you guys and keep track on how the corals are doing under these lights. But if we need to, we can always grab a set of new ones as they're not too expensive. Moving over to some lights that we have a little bit more proof of are the NewSike K7 Pros. These are the NewSike K7 Pro 3s. They are a 120 watt LED with an app and a pretty wide spectrum of adjustability in color. And they've done really good at growing corals as well as keeping good color in them as well. I've got one over the 38 gallon and one over the 20 gallon, both on the same spectrum. Now these are comparable to something like a Radeon G5 XR15, something around 110 watts, but those run about $500, $550 brand new. You can get a brand new NewSike with the mount for about $300. I know the technology and the lenses might be a little bit different, but both lights are controllable and they have similar wattage. The NewSikes, like I said, keep really good color in the corals as well, and although we don't dose in this aquarium, we do get some good growth on the corals. I've had the first NewSike for about a year, and the second one I've had for maybe 4 or 5 months, and the older one seems to be holding up well. It's only been a year, so it's not too long to tell, but again, it's keeping good color. I haven't had any weird glitches in the app or anything going on with the scheduling, and the lenses and the actual lights themselves seem to be concealed well. It doesn't look like any salt or anything crazy is getting in there. But yeah, the lights are looking good. I've had pretty good luck with these, and I've recommended a lot of people to these lights as well, and I think people like them. So again, I think time will tell with the NewSikes. We have seen some growth in the corals, which is a good sign, but in terms of longevity, we're just gonna have to wait and see how they do. I think as long as you maintain your equipment and take care of it properly, it should last quite a while. More so for the Powerheads, but these things are pretty simple mechanically. As long as you can keep the propeller cleaned and keep the algae off, it should continue to work. If you guys have any questions about the equipment that's in the videos or my aquariums, then please leave it in the comments down below. You can also send me a direct message to my Instagram. The link is also in the description below. But with all of that being said, I will be sure to catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.